So, today we're going to dive into a really raw and powerful piece of prose by Mehmet Ali GÜNER called If Life Is to Speak of Me. And let me tell you, this is a journey right into the heart of an existential battle, a story about fighting back against a fate that feels like it's just trying to crush you.
And really, the entire piece hangs on this one single question. I want you to keep it in the back of your mind as we go through this. What do you do when you feel like life itself actually owes you something?
So, our narrator's journey kicks off in a place of just complete and total paralysis. It's a state the author calls the weight of immovable rocks. The way he describes this is just, wow. The imagery is incredible. He says it's like the bond of ancient rocks that have kissed, like the immovability of those settled rocks. It has made a place in the base of my brain. You have to understand, this isn't just sadness we're talking about. This is a profound, deep, psychological inertia. It's that feeling of being so stuck that moving seems completely and utterly impossible.
This feeling is a perfect example of what you might call existential weight. You know, it's that sense that your pain isn't just a phase, it's a permanent part of who you are. It's so heavy that even if you could lift it, the empty space it left behind would just be too huge to even deal with. What a heavy place to be starting from.
But out of this paralysis, something new starts to bubble up. This fearful but defiant anger. This is where the narrator moves into the next phase of his journey, a direct reckoning with God.
And it all starts with this hesitant phrase that he keeps repeating, I really don't want to anger God, but. You can almost hear the nervousness. This little phrase is like the first crack in a dam, the first sign that he's about to challenge this whole divine order he feels trapped by. So what's his first complaint? What's the problem? He feels like his destiny is being constantly messed with. He believes God keeps scribbling new notes and signs onto his fate, which not only slows him down but throws him way off course. It's like he can never make any real progress. And there it is again. But this time, doesn't it feel a little stronger? I really don't want to anger God, but. Yeah, you can tell the frustration is really starting to build.
His next big issue is this feeling of complete injustice. He looks at his own sorrows, he looks at the sorrows of other people, and when he puts them on what he calls God's general scale of justice, he feels like he always gets the wrong end of the deal. No matter what, he's the one who loses. He's starting to question if there's any fairness at all.
And then he says it one last time. And this time it's not a hesitation anymore. It feels more like a warning, doesn't it? I really don't want to anger God, but the dam is definitely about to break. And all of this brings him to this really stark conclusion. He says, from his window, looking out at the world, all he sees are angry gods, and every single one of them is a creditor demanding to be paid back. And who's the one person who owes them all? He is. This feeling of being uniquely, crushingly in debt to the universe, that's the absolute peak of his despair. This despair takes him to the absolute darkest part of his journey. It's a kind of symbolic self-destruction that he calls my own funeral procession.
He compares his rebellion, all his complaints, to the never-silent funeral procession of a living dead man. I mean, what an image, right? He's not physically dead, of course, but he's mourning the death of his own spirit, his own will, and it's happening in this loud, chaotic parade, inside his own head.
And get this, in these symbolic funerals, the details get incredibly vivid. He describes all the ways he dies, from blood loss, a hanged throat, handfuls of pills. Now, obviously, this isn't literal, but it just goes to show you the violent, self-destructive war he's waging against his own fate.
And the price of this internal war is just huge. He says he abandoned himself. In every part of him where he died, he left behind thousands of victims. Think about that. Every time he gave up, every moment of despair, it was like a piece of him was killed off. He's both the person who died and the battlefield where it all happened.
But just when you think it's all over, we hit the climax. The absolute turning point of the entire piece arrives, and it's symbolized by the broken pen.
And it all shifts with just 3 simple words. Now it was my turn. After all that suffering, all that fighting with God and fate, he just decides to take the wheel. This is the exact moment everything flips from being a passive victim to taking active control.
And here it is, the ultimate act of defiance. Whatever it was written with, the pen of this case was what I broke between my 2 palms. This is so important. He's not just trying to rewrite his story, he is literally shattering the tool that was writing it for him. He is completely rejecting the idea that his story belongs to anyone else. This single act of breaking the pen, it pushes him into his final form, his ultimate self-reclamation. Now, I am the sole creditor.
So what does this new, empowered person believe? Well, this is basically his new personal code. He didn't beg for forgiveness. He didn't let a little criticism destroy him. He paid for his own mistakes by living through them, by owning them. And by doing all that, he finally wrote his own true, unadorned story.
And that brings us to the final knockout punch of the whole piece. He says, from the gods and from the life that ended without being lived, I was now the sole creditor. The tables have completely 180-degree turned. He's not the one in debt anymore. Oh no. Now he's the one that everyone else owes. The gods who wronged him and that unlived life. He's finally ready to collect.
Which, of course, brings it all back to you. This whole journey, from paralysis to rebellion to finally taking back control, it leaves us all with one last really big question. After seeing all that, are you ready to write the decree of your own life?